again to implement them, or hopefully, right? Today's webinar is low-tech ways to engage students in online learning, which sounds amazing because we're trying to figure out Canva and all the names that have been going on with apps, and a lot of webinars with a little bit of complex ideas. So in this case, we're going low tech for everyone to enjoy and to engage our students. We encourage you to comment while Daniel is presenting, and we will read the questions later on. I'm going to introduce you, Daniel. So say hi for the camera.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, perfect. Daniel earned his bachelor degree in Spanish and German from Occidental College after receiving his teaching credentials from the state of California and MA in teaching. He taught elementary and high school in California and New Jersey. Since arriving in Chile in 2010, Daniel has taught English in schools, institutes, and universities. He has also worked with the COIFO program, teaching 100-hour courses, as well as working in the English program at the Chilean IRS. In the United States, he has presented at the CLTA and ACTFL annual conferences, and in Chile, he has presented at IATEFL Chile and TESOL Chile conference throughout the country. In addition to freelance teaching, Daniel offers workshops for teachers about effective teaching methods and is one half of the ELT in Chile podcast. And that is very, very important. Do follow and pay attention to ELT in Chile podcast. Daniel, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Carla. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see if this is going to cooperate. Yes. Okay, so here we go. So we are taking a look at low-tech ways to engage students in online learning. So I think this is a really relevant topic. We have been about 6 months now teaching online. So I think that in some ways we can go back to basics, right? So just to start things off, I'd like to share something that's fun in classes. So I came across this post and someone has decided to rename common objects that we see. And let's see what is happening. Okay, very good, it's loading. So this Twitter account is renaming everyday objects, and they're more accurate than the real ones. So if we take a look, we see these fish here. So they say a group of squids should be called a squad, right? So here, now we know that this is obviously a whale, but they're calling it a panda fish.
So Daniel, excuse me for interrupting. I'm not sure if we can see. I think you have
your
to
screen is
share
frozen.
again.
Oh my gosh, okay.
No, it's okay. I think you have to share again, like stop sharing and then share the new screen with us again.
Okay,
it sounds very interesting.
Okay, one moment. All right, let's see, here we go. All right, talking about Twitter technology cooperating. Okay, so this Twitter account is renaming everyday objects and they're more accurate than the real ones. So we see here some squids, and they say a group of squids should be called a squad. All right, here we see a picture. They say the correct name should be a panda fish. All right, so now if we take a look at this, we know this as a glass of water. But how could this be renamed? Do you have any ideas? If you do, go ahead and put it in the chat as to how a person might, in a funny way, rename this. Are there any ideas at all? Or should I not leave you in suspense? Let's go ahead, let's take a look. It is called snowman blood. Right, if you think of poor Frosty. Right, so if we take a look, here we see a platypus. What is another name for a platypus, or the correct name? So let's see, do we have some comments in the chat? Let's see. Okay, no ideas yet. They're calling this a duck puppy, right? And so on this website, they have lots of these, a land cloud for a sheep, a prison pony. And so this is something, it's just fun, it's lighthearted, it gets you thinking about the use of language, bagel seeds, right? So this is something that you can use in your classes to get your students thinking, getting them putting ideas into the chat, right? We see a mountain fountain, a T-Rex deer, right? So this is something I wanted to share to show how we can just connect with the website, share it with our students, get them making predictions, get them smiling and laughing, right? So going into the meat of what we're looking at now. So first we're going to take a look at what our reality is. Then we'll take a look at a scale of 1 to 10. Then a game called What Did I Say? Find Something. Sentence fill-ins. TPR with irregular verbs. A tool called Answer Garden. And some closing thoughts, right? So what is our reality? So I think that we're pretty much all on the same page. But let's take a look at this. So I think the reality is we do not know how much longer we're going to be teaching online. You know, a lot of things are really up in the air and we're dealing with a lot of uncertainty right now. We do not have control over our students' environments. So we cannot control if they're eating, if, you know, they have a very noisy environment. We cannot control how many siblings they have, if they have a stable environment to study, right? Even though we're teaching online, we still have the responsibility to engage our students and figure out how to make things work as best as possible. And obviously everyone's situation is different. If you're teaching elementary school kids, if you're teaching high schoolers, university students, right? So we need to adapt things to best meet our students' needs. So I'm going to present a lot of ideas, and I want you, while we're going through this, think how can you use or adapt these ideas for your situation, right? Okay, so.
Could you switch to your, I think we're not seeing your PPT again.
You're not seeing it again?
No,
all right.
we're seeing the T-Rex deer.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Okay.
Well, it looks like I have to switch back to this. All right, so let me go back.
There we go,
all
now
right.
we see it, now we see it.
All right, so these are our points that we had with our reality. I'll just show that for a quick second, what I was talking through. All right, okay. So what I'd like to do now is we're going to do a quick activity called a scale of 1 to 10, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling today? I would like you to put your number in the chat box, right? Okay, so I see 6, 6, 7, 9. Excellent. 8, 6, 5. All right, 8.5. There we go. Someone's feeling like a 10 today. Excellent, right? Very good, very good. So alternatively, if I had a smaller class, I could also make people show with their hands on the camera, right? So another question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like cats? Right, so let's see what answers we get with this. Oh my gosh, some people are saying 1, some people are saying 10, 2, 1, 8. So we have some varying opinions about this. Oh, someone says -2, -2. Oh my gosh, okay. Very good, very good. All right, one more. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like Star Wars? So I think people also have pretty strong opinions about this. Someone says a 0. Look at that. Okay, I'm seeing a 1, 6, 10, another 0. Look at this. In my case, I think it's a 2 because Baby Yoda is really adorable. But other than that, I have not seen any of the Star Wars movies. It doesn't really interest me, right? So this is something that you can do with using the chat box, and people can also show with their hands, write their number, and then you can get a quick gauge and see how your students are feeling, right? And if you have students whose cameras aren't working, they can just go ahead and type into the chat box, right? Excellent, excellent. So another thing that we can do, So this is a little bit of pronunciation practice and listening. So one thing that's really great about online teaching is we do not have a physical distance between the front of the room and the back of the room. So every student can go ahead and take a look at my mouth and see the pronunciation of words, right? And so that is one of the benefits we have. So now I am going to say a word with the mic off, and you have to determine the word by looking at my mouth, right? And so we can do this by category. We could also do this having one sound in common, right? So the way I'm doing this is I have 4 words, right? The first word is 1 syllable, second word 2 syllables, third word 3 syllables, fourth word 4 syllables. I'm going to say each word 3 times, right? So when you think you know what the word is, I would like you to type it into the chat box, right? Okay. So, all right, our first group is animals. So, all right, word number 1. All right, so yes, I see some people got it. I was saying horse. Excellent, excellent. All right, so now we're going on to word number 2. Let me go ahead and mute myself. Okay, please put your answers into the box. Yes, people are getting it. I was saying penguin. Excellent, excellent. All right, word number 3. Oh, whoops. Okay, pretend you didn't see that. Pretend you didn't see that. Let's see, where is my mute button? Excellent. So here, yes. So I accidentally pressed the button, so some people got to see that. All right. And number 4. One moment here. Okay. Yes, I'm seeing people in the box. They got it. This one was alligator, right? Excellent, excellent. Look at that. Very good, very good. So in this case, I did this with animals, which would be maybe more appropriate for elementary school students. Now imagine we're working with university students that are studying linguistics, or imagine that you have students that are working and they're having a difficult time with vowel sounds, for example. So the next set we're going to do with this has the short U sound. So this sounds like right? So I am going to say word number 1. Okay, so what word was I saying? Any guesses at all? Let's see. All right, would you like to hear it one more time? Yes? Okay. So this was fun, right? So we have the short U sound. So all these have the word in them, right? Okay. All right, so the second one has 2 syllables and it has the sound in it. Any guesses? Okay. Okay, Daniela Contreras, you're close. It's a little bit different. I'll do it one more time. Okay, so maybe this was a little too difficult, but the word was money, right? Okay. So look at this. Daniela was close. Freddie was close. He said bunny. Daniela Contreras said funny, right? Okay. We just have two more. These might be too difficult, but let's do this as an experiment, right? Okay. So word number 3. Okay, any ideas? Okay, so this is just one word. All right, I think these are a little too difficult. Suburban, right? And then we will try the last one. This is probably going to be too difficult, but we'll try just for the experience, right? Any ideas? No? Okay. So, unthinkable was what I was saying. So now take a look. We are English teachers, right? And this is difficult for us when we got to group 2. So think about your students. I think we have to make things easier for them than we're expecting. So if I were doing this, I would probably have stuck with 1 and 2 syllable words, right? Getting to 3 and 4 syllables was probably way too difficult just for the purpose of this activity, right? And for our audience that we have here at the moment, right? Okay, so now we're going to do something where you're going to be getting out of your seats, right? So I'm going to tell you something specific that you have to find and show on camera, right? And you have to the count of 10 to find it. So, all right, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to find something green. All right, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see what everyone has. So I see a book. It looks like English something, pronunciation maybe, English phonetics and phonology. Okay, someone has a plant. Someone has, looks like a pipe or, so with the cello. Okay, we see with the dampener. Okay, so I see a pen. I see a pillow. What else do I see here? All right, I see someone has like a plastic container, it looks like, right? Let's see, do I see anything else? All right, excellent, excellent. All right. Excellent. Going on to round number 2. So now, oh, let me show you. This is my thing that I have green. I have a Yoshi oven mitt, right, which I love. And he got a little bit hungry, and he has a little bit of chocolate chip on here on his face, a little bit of chocolate chip on his tongue from when he was a little bit hungry. Excellent. All right. So the next thing. Find something uncountable that you are not wearing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. All right. Was anyone able to find anything? Okay, so I see Daniela has water in a bottle. Excellent, excellent. Okay. It looks like, Freddie, you have, it looks like a plate, maybe with some air in it. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's milk. Okay. Let's see, it looks like Karen has, looks like cinnamon. Very good, very good. Excellent. Okay. So what I have is, I have some rice. Excellent, excellent. All right. Round number 3. I would like you, oops. I would like you to find something that is circular. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Excellent. Okay, so we see Carla Bustos has the bottom of her bottle. All right, it looks like Barbara has something, is that a coin, it looks like? Okay, excellent. Freddie also has a coin. Christina looks like she has like a chapstick or a lipstick bottle. Daniela Rojas has, it looks like a jack-o'-lantern. Okay, we see the bottom of a bottle. It looks like the Carla Palma has. Let's see, Paulina has like a ring. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a roll of tape. Excellent, excellent. Okay, I'm not seeing any other cameras. What I have is I have a little foam baseball that I use when I have in-person classes to toss around, right? And our last thing, round 4, find something that is soft. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So I see some stuffed animals that look very adorable. I see blankets. I see pillows. Excellent. Do I see anything else? Oh, I see someone's pet dog. Aruve Academy, your dog is saying hello. Look at that. I see a little cat. Uh-huh. Excellent. I see like a big ball. It looks kind of like a pillow that's like a die. Look at that. Excellent. I see Karen is saying yes. Excellent. Look at that. Very good. Very good. Okay. So what I have is I have some very, very fuzzy slippers that I wore throughout the winter time to help keep my feet warm. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so the way we were doing this was you were getting up, you were finding things. So now because this is a webinar and we don't know how many people are there, for the sake of time, we're not really sharing, right? But you could have students go through and say, this is my blank, right? Or I'm showing you my blank, right? You could have people talk, you know, you could have a little bit of conversation, depending on your context, depending how much time you have, right? You can decide how you want to use that. But this really gets students engaged with their environment, right? I probably wouldn't say something like, show me your phone, because socioeconomic status, not everyone may have a phone, you know, so I'm sticking with things that everyone can probably relate to, right? Excellent, excellent. All right, another thing we can do, we can use fill-ins. And in this way, we are testing what students know, but we're doing it in a way with more than one answer, right? So I see a question. Danielle Contreras is asking, are these exercises warming up? This can be a warm-up, right? This could be something you could do in the middle of a class to get students out of their chairs so they're moving around a little bit, right? So it depends how you would like to structure that with your classes. As for fill-ins, this could also be a warm-up. So what we do with this is we actually test the students' understanding of a grammar point or vocabulary without it necessarily having one correct answer. So this can be a nice bridge to students writing completely on their own, right? So here I have a sentence for you, and I would like you to put your answers to the blanks in the chat box. When I went to the barbecue, there were a lot of blank, but there weren't many blank. So look at that sentence and then put your answers, just type the 2 words in the chat box and let's see what answers we get. Okay. There were a lot of hot dogs, but there weren't many hot dog buns. There were a lot of people, but there weren't many animals. Okay. Excellent, excellent. Okay, if we change it and we say there was a lot of meat, but there weren't many veggies, okay, that can work that way. Excellent, excellent. Very good. All right, so let's take a look at another one. So if we have the answer of, I'm sorry, the sentence, there's usually a lot of blank in big cities. Right? There's usually a lot of blank in big cities. Okay. Buildings, rats, pollution, cars. Okay. So here, drug addicts. Okay. Unfortunately, I think that's true. Okay, so I actually said this with there is. So if I structure it this way, I'm specifically looking for something singular or uncountable, right? So things like pollution and things like that. If I said there are usually a lot of, I could use something that's countable, right? Excellent, excellent. I called my friends and asked for some. How could we finish that one? Okay, excellent. Help, advice. Any other ideas? Okay, maybe we could also say money if they're very good friends. All right, for the recipe, we need a few blank and a lot of blank. So how could we finish that one? Okay, for the recipe, we need a few eggs and a lot of patience. Okay, very creative, Carla. Any other ideas? Okay, a few peppers and a lot of garlic. Okay, that would be an interesting dish. Something pretty spicy, it sounds like. Okay, a few ingredients, a lot of time. Excellent. Very good, very good. So here we see that we have lots of different answers, and there isn't necessarily one correct answer, right? So what I did have also, when we got to the party, there wasn't much something. There wasn't much something left. Okay, energy, okay. Food, okay, booze, drinks. Excellent, excellent, very good. So we're looking for things that are probably uncountable here. Excellent. So I did have a second set with this. So now here I went ahead and I incorporated the passive voice. So I'll just show them to you so you have an idea, but for the purpose of time, we're gonna skip this activity, right? We could have something like a lot of blank have been built in Santiago. A lot of buildings, right? A lot of businesses. Blank should be taught in all schools. The winner of the contest were given, right? So things that are not good for the environment, and blank shouldn't be allowed to, right? Excellent, excellent. And this can really evoke a lot of really good conversation with students, right? Excellent. All right. So for the sake of time, we're going to move on. So now we can use this in a Google Doc with a small class, and we can actually have students filling in their answers, right? If you have a class of 4 or 5 people, they could be typing in their answers at the same time, right? You could also put this into a Google form and make this a homework assignment. You could assign this as a quiz, right? Or you could do this just like the way I did, doing it in class, right? So now if I were in class, I would probably go ahead and establish that we need more participation, you know, or I would say, I want to see at least 10 responses to this question before we move on. Something like that, really setting that expectation for students participating, right? Okay, so now we're going to do something a little bit different, a little bit fun. We're going to be doing some total physical response with irregular verbs. So who here really, really likes irregular verbs? Raise your hand. Anybody? No, not really? Somewhat? Okay. So I'm going to say a verb in the base form, the past simple, or the past participle. So we have things like drink, drank, drunk. Okay, so now it's important to make sure we're paying attention to the vowel here, because when I say drink, it's like I'm smiling, right? And so I have this and my face is up like this, so I say drink. When I say drank, now my pronunciation is obviously from the United States, so my jaw really drops down. So I have drank, right? And then when I say drunk, I'm putting my lips together like I'm going to kiss someone. Drunk, right? So I want you to pay attention to that when I'm saying these words. Now, if I say the base form, drink, touch your head. If I say the past simple, drank, touch your ears. And if I say drunk, the past participle, touch your shoulders, right? Okay, and so if your video isn't working, you can type the word you hear into the chat box, right? So now I am going to go a little bit quickly. So if you are going to be typing in the chat box, make sure you're ready and typing. Are you ready? All right. Drink. Drank. Drunk. Drunk. Drink. Drank. Drank. Drunk. Drink. Drank. Drunk. Drunk. Right? So you can see, I can see the reactions of some people. It looks like you're having fun with this, right? So you can do this just for a few minutes, and your students are really hearing these 3 different vowel sounds, right? Which are so important when we're learning these different verb tenses and these different verb forms, right? So this is something that you can do, and I can go ahead and I can just be looking, and I can be seeing in general who is understanding and who isn't, right? So now we obviously can't force our students to participate, but we can go ahead and do everything we can to encourage them. You know, make it fun, make it a game, right? Excellent, excellent. All right, so what I could do, if time allowed, and if I had students that I think felt very confident about this, I could then say, okay, now we are going to listen to Daniela. Daniela, then you are going to say from the verb sing. Sing, sang, sung. So now we would be listening to a student doing this, and we would have to be listening. So now I would be doing this, so students that are not sure can then look at me to get the correct answer, right? So this is one way of using TPR with irregular verbs, right? Okay, so now we have other ways we can use this. So now, in this way, we are going to be doing some acting, right? So this is going to maybe take you back to being in elementary school, and that's okay. As adults, we can be silly. So we are going to create a chain of verbs that we're going to act out and say with the 3 forms in class, right? So one thing we can do is we can get the students engaged in actually suggesting the actions for the verb, right? So to start out, I'm going to start with this verb. What verb is this? This is the verb fly, right? So what I need everyone to do, I need you to go ahead, wave your arms. Fly, flew, flown. Say that with me. Fly, flew, flown. Excellent, excellent. All right, so now I have created the list, right, for the purpose of this, but you could have students select the irregular verbs, right? So our next verb, drive, drove, driven. I know you have your microphones off, but say that with me. Drive, drove, driven, right? Okay, so from the beginning, fly, flew, flown, drive, drove, driven. Excellent. Okay, so now a very important verb, eat. So the way I typically do this is like eating a big hamburger. Okay, I see Daniela doing like this, right? Maybe you're eating a piece of pizza, right? So you know what, we'll use this one. So eat, ate, eaten, right? Eat, ate, eaten. All right, from the beginning, fly, flew, flown, drive, drove, driven, eat, ate, eaten. Excellent, excellent. All right, so our next one, drink. Another very, very important verb, especially given the pandemic. So drink, probably something like this, right? Drink, drank, drunk, right? Okay, from the beginning, fly, flew, flown, drive, drove, driven, eat, ate, eaten, drink, drank, drunk, right? Excellent, excellent. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to show you the other ones, right? But we won't go through it. I think you get the idea at this point. So then build, built, built, fight, fought, fought, right? Let's see, what do I have next? Win, won, won, right? And then I always like to end with sleep, slept, slept. Right. Excellent, excellent. So doing something like this, it gets students moving around a little bit. They're staying on camera, but they're engaging. So now one thing that is going to be important, if you do have a big class, you will want to do some type of activity where you're checking their pronunciation with this, right? Excellent, excellent. All right, so now we have one piece of technology that I think is very, very useful for people that have large classes. And this is one of my favorite words. It is free, right? So it's called Answer Garden. Is there anyone that has actually heard of Answer Garden before or has used it? Okay, I'm seeing people saying no. Okay. Let's see here. All right, let me see. Okay, so people are saying no. Okay. Excellent, excellent. All right. Well, what this resource does is this actually gives us a way of getting answers to a question from a group of people, right? So I have a question for you. What have you been doing with your free time during the pandemic? So I am going to put a link into the chat box, and there you can type in your answer. So I'm going to see how this, whoops. All right, one moment. I'm going to see how this works with going ahead and getting that. Give me one moment. Okay. All right, so one moment. Okay, so here is this. I am copying and pasting. All right, let's see here. Okay, so going into the chat box, going to the chat box, here we go. All right. So, okay, if you go ahead and visit that link, you will see the question that I shared with you about what you've been doing during the pandemic. All right, I should be sharing my screen now. And I worded it just because of the character limit. What have you been doing with your free time lately? So I can say playing Catan, right? And I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And now, okay. Oh no, someone says they have no free time. Okay, someone has been watching TV, right? So can everyone go ahead and put in at least one answer for that? If you would like, you can put multiple answers, right? In my case, I've also been eating popcorn and watching Netflix. Okay, so look at all these answers we have now. Okay, drawing and singing, playing with my kids, gardening, studying, playing bass. Oh, there we go. There's a bass player in the group. Excellent. Okay. Okay, sleeping. Uh-huh. Scrolling through social media, right? Excellent, excellent. Very good. So here we're seeing all these activities. So if you have a class of 15, 20, 25, 30, you could get a really, really nice conversation going with these types of things, right? And what people are doing. This could also, you could use this for anything. So I'll just show you really quick with the website. It's really easy to go ahead and create this. And then you indicate what your question is. And then they have some different modes. So now what might be good if you're a teacher, they have moderator mode. So you actually have to approve the answers, right? Otherwise your students could type really, really inappropriate things in there. So you might want to consider their age level and their maturity. You can choose 20 or 40 characters, right? If you want to set things up with a password. I don't know that that's really necessary. They have a reminder email, spam filter, you know, lowercase, uppercase, and how long it's going to be available, right? So this is really easy to set up, and it's a nice resource, particularly for large classes. It doesn't really use video or anything. So this is something that I think would benefit people that have classes of 15, 20 or more students, right? To get some live interaction. Very good, very good. All right, so I'm going to go back to sharing my, whoops, what happened here? All right, so here we go. All right, So some additional ideas. So we saw the head, ears, shoulders variation. So what if you have a question like yes, no, I'm not sure, right? So this could be yes, this could be no, this could be I'm not sure, or I don't know, right? You could do things like thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you like cats? Right, thumbs up, thumbs down. Star Wars, you know? And this could also be maybe like thumbs in the middle. All right, so there are things we can do with A and B cards. So we could have a card and we could say is option A or B correct. For example, Homer, let's see, Homer drinks beer every day. Homer is drinking beer every day. Sentence A or sentence B, which one is correct, right? You could do something like that. Showing pets. So I think it was the person from the Uribe Academy that showed their pet dog, right? So I think that sharing your pets and just having that human connection with our students is a really, really nice thing that you can do in classes. So my closing thoughts with this. There is a lot that we cannot control about our current situation, but there are things that we can control. So we really want to focus on that. And we can use and reuse really, really basic strategies and activities. We don't have to make things overly complex. We can learn basic ones and apply them to many, many different contexts, right? And so obviously this could be very difficult for you if you're at a school that is requiring you to use many different things. But if possible, rather than trying to learn many, many different platforms and apps, if we master a few that we can use in multiple ways, I think that's a really good way of going about things and also guarding our energy, right? Excellent. So we saw our reality. We saw the activity of a scale of 1 to 10. What did I say? Find something. Sentence fill-ins, TPR with irregular verbs, and answer garden, and my closing thoughts. So at this point, I would like to know what questions people have.
So Daniel, maybe we can remind people that you guys can participate on the chat, but maybe Daniel, you might want people just to pick up the mic and talk to you.
Sure.
Okay, so feel free to do that.
Definitely. So if there are any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. If you would like to ask a question, feel free to raise your hand.
If you are on Facebook also, feel free to post your questions there and we will be checking them.
Daniel, I actually have a question for you.
Sure.
If I may ask. My question is related to the camera usage, because in my lessons, one of the biggest issues is that my students connect without a camera for various reasons. And that's very tricky because I never know if they're there to begin with. So this activity seems very engaging, but many of them do need the camera as an asset to make them possible. Is there anything else that you would advise to do in case nobody can use their cameras and we can use the chat box instead, or I don't know, any other tool?
This is one thing I was thinking about because I have heard that teenagers and college students, they typically don't like putting their camera on. And I think that is complicated. I think if you ask them to turn it on for maybe 2 minutes for an activity, you know, that I think that maybe students would be okay with that, you know, because I think that they are spending so much time in front of a computer that we do want to realize Zoom fatigue is real, and being in front of the camera, you know, all the time, having it on all the time, I think that drains a lot of energy. Some of these activities you can do with a chat box. You know, you can make these activities optional. We can't make our students participate. We can't force them to, right? So I would say that's the best advice I can give with those circumstances, and just feel it out with your students.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a question for you.
Okay, yes, Freddie?
Yeah, so those are great activities. I love them all. And I see that it's a lot of interaction, teacher and students. So I was wondering how you feel about interaction among the students. I mean, is there any way or ideas, or generally speaking, how do you feel about them interacting among themselves?
That's really important also. So one thing that is possible is breakout rooms. Obviously, I think everyone has heard about them. They've used them in different ways. I think that just for the purpose of this webinar, we didn't quite have the time to include it, but I would maybe put them into groups, and then you could give them some discussion questions, you know, and then have them talk in groups of 3 or 4, pop into the rooms, right? Have them talk for 5 minutes, then bring them back to the main group, and then have somebody say, okay, you know, one person from each group, I would like you to share with the entire group what you talked about. Ideally, you would assign roles in advance. So this person is going to be the person reading the questions, this person is going to be taking notes, and this person is going to speak for the entire, back in the main room.
Good. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Are there any questions in the chat? Let's see.
No questions in the chat, just very
Love.
grateful people.
Excellent.
Only
Okay.
love.
Wonderful. Excellent. This is so nice. I really appreciate everyone's positive energy and connecting on a Friday, the Friday after 18.
I know.
You know, for this really shows your dedication with teaching. Right. Excellent, excellent. I do have one last slide I would like to show you before I forget. And if any other questions do come up, in the meantime, feel free to add them. Let's see here. So, okay, where are we at? Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Is technology cooperating? Okay. So if any more questions do come up, that's perfectly fine. So I do have my website if anyone is interested in checking that out, danielguim.com. We also do have the podcast that I do with Jose Luis Poblete, ELT in Chile, right? And on the website there, we have a lot of resources and things that we make available for free, right? One of my favorite words. So I think that we really need to come together as a community, support each other, right? Help each other out with resources, things that we're doing that are very helpful. You know, so any other questions or any other ideas?
Okay, so I guess if there are no further questions, I would like then to thank you, Daniel, and thank you everybody for being here, for taking the time, as Daniel was saying, on a Friday night after vacations, right? So yeah, thank you for that. There was definitely very useful tips that you gave us and great ideas, super dynamic to see. And well, I would like to remind you guys that Daniel's website, actually the ELT group in Chile, you can also find the link on the TESOL website as well, because we're friends with them. So we support each other. So if you want to check them there, they have wonderful podcasts about topics that I am sure you're going to enjoy. We have, and they're very current, I'd say, Daniel, if you allow me. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. And I'd like to remind you guys, if you like things like this, to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and also on our website. We love to do things like this for you guys. And also we are welcoming any ideas that you may have for us to create and also give more webinars on the topics that you might be interested. So if you want to give us your opinion on what you think is something that we need to do for the next webinar, please, I am sharing a link with a survey so you can fill it in. If you've already answered it, great. But if not yet, you can have your voice heard and tell us what other things we can do for you guys. So thank you again for having for being here with us. Thank you, Daniel, for this wonderful webinar.
Thank you, Barbara. Yeah. Thank you, Carla, and everyone with the TESOL Chile board that helped plan this. I imagine that it's a thankless job, a lot of work that goes unrecognized. And so I would like everyone attending, please give them a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
That's beautiful. Thank you. You're receiving so much love from all the social networks. You just need
Thank
to know.
you.
And remember, this recording will be available on our Facebook account. So in case you want to check them again, maybe you're preparing a class and you want to go back to, oh, Daniel said something about this, then you can go ahead and check the recording as many times as you need. So thank you again, and I hope you guys have a great evening. And I don't know if you, Daniel, want to say any final comments?
I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful Friday evening. Thank you so much for attending. And hopefully I will see your faces virtually, maybe in the future. Hopefully in person also.
Would be lovely for a change.
For a change. Yes, please. So thank you guys. So that will be the end of the webinar. Thank you for being with us now, and stay tuned because we keep on working for you guys. So we have exciting things coming. So enjoy your weekend.
Thank you so much.
Bye everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.